Hello, all of our fans, all of our watchers. This is Audio Heads, and we are a group that goes with Geeks Assembled, and we are going to do this audio review on a new Big Finish piece that was from an old comic book in the 70s, right? 70s. Uh, produced by um, produced by Marvel and distributed in an 8 week run. And the one of us who has read these is Lee. And I just like to get his opening thoughts and do feel free to compare the audio to the comic book if you'd like. If not, just talk about the audio, please. And thanks for joining us, you two. So let's get started with Lee.
Right, yeah. So this audio of Doctor Who and the Iron Legion is based on the eight-week run from 1979 from the Doctor Who Weekly. And the Doctor back then was Tom Baker, of course, and they've got Tom Baker in the audio. Yeah, it's sort of now going back to the comic strip, as I say, from the first issue. This is first issue, so comic strip, the Iron Legion. You're putting all the audio to the pictures. It's so done. It brings it all back, and it's so well done, so well acted. It's give flesh to these 2D characters, shall we say? And Tom's Tom, and I think as well is sort of more outlandish in this because of it's a comic strip. So he's getting away with a little bit more, a bit of a more overaction, which I think is quite fun. I know for fact there's a couple of characters in the audio what they're fleshing out, and wasn't, it didn't appear much in the comic strip, but they're fleshing the characters out to be in the full story, which is a good thing, I suppose. It's a great story, about the Roman Empire conquering the galaxy with their robotic Iron Legion, which you found out by the end of it, it's by alien influences, shall we say? But it's a damn good romp. It's sort of like a carry-on sci-fi Tom Baker just chewing the scenery. It's just brilliant. I love it. It's good. I'd say all the supporting cast in this as well is brilliant. I mean, you say you've got Tom Longworth as well in this, which is a stalwart of Big Finish. Any voices he can do, he'll do it. And so the characters he plays in this are brilliant. So yeah, it's good to listen to. It's a 4-part audio, but an 8-part comic strip. So over to you, Susan.
Thanks. And Texas Tim, what did you think of this? And have you read the comic book at all?
No, I'd never read the comic book. I used to have those issues though as well. But yeah, I agreed with Lee. This was excellent. It was very good. It's very funny. It's quite different, like Lee pointed out, from the usual Tom Baker fare that we get, which we get quite a lot of this year so far, and that those sometimes go to some pretty dark places. But this was just full on, like the best thing you could say about it is it's like Carry On. It's just hilarious. It just keeps going and going and going. It's got so many jokes that you don't get time to laugh at them because you'll be laughing at the next one. I mean, it's that quick and funny, and it's very different from your usual Fourth Doctor stories, which is fine. It's nice for something different, And he everybody knows Tom Baker excels at comedy. He's brilliant. And he does have an unusual cast of friends with him this time because for once he's traveling alone, and he ends up pretty much building a team around himself throughout as the story goes on. And that's the wonderful thing that he can do in this story, which is really very unusual. It's very atypical for Doctor Who. I really think Big Finish should do more of these. They gave us two stories, two of the most popular comic stories, I guess they tackled in this set, and I really think they should do more. I mean, this was great. It was a welcome change. You know what I mean? It was very, very fun. I mean, I wouldn't say you'd want to see it this way all the time, but why not? This is a great addition to the set.
Yeah, thanks. So let me dole out some facts and figures. It was like in Stockbridge, and so like that was pretty interesting. Is like that's been occasionally referenced later on. Let me see. I'm looking for the cast. Where'd it go? Oh dear.
I've got a list of the cast in front of me, Susan. If you,
yeah, would you please? That would be brilliant. Thanks, Lee.
see, this is why I obey the physical.
Yes, quite.
So, what would you like to know? You say Tom Baker's the Doctor. You know that goes without saying, but you've got General Ironicus. I mean,
Right.
Brian Prothero brilliantly portrayed that. You got Magog Juno, played by Christine Kavanagh. You say Toby Longworth plays Vesuvius, a brilliant little robot. It's sort of with like a nervous speech impediment, keeps getting like a sort of a Max Headroom type of thing, but very well played. Toby Longworth's brilliant. So you've got loads of people in this. What else have we got? Obviously, Joseph Kloska as Morris. Now that's a brilliant character as well. Who befriends the Doctor on is it sort of a futuristic slave ship sort of thing. That was a picture of Vesuvius there behind you. Then just a minute ago,
this one.
Yeah,
this one. Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah, so yeah, a brilliant ensemble cast. And it's been said before. Big Finish always seem to attract these brilliant actors. I mean, half of them are from from TV, movies, or whatever. Some of them just do radio plays, but a good mixture of these actors, and you've got a damn good audio. And they always seem to get the great great voices involved in this. And as you mentioned, Stockbridge, yeah, that's been mentioned loads of times in the comic strips. Although they always keep mentioning Stockbridge, and they've used it in the audio as well. Oh yeah, it's Stockbridge. Some of the Peter Davison comic strips was set in Stockbridge and stuff like that. But so they've used it in the audios as well. So
right on. And yeah, so I guess I really enjoy the things I enjoyed. Where I enjoyed the robotic, soundscapes and the characters, the robot characters. I enjoyed the way that that it was sort of boisterous and joyous and there was lots of sweet, funny moments. I just laughed. Yeah, it was great. It was super great, and I guess some of my favorite moments were the robot attack and the spaceships surrounding the city. That was funny. and that was a good ending. And the Temple of the Gods was that situation, that scene was really hilarious. Because he's escaping with Morris, like Lee had mentioned, and so that was super cool. And General Ironicus making jokes earlier on. I'm traveling back in time, actually, as I'm going through my list here, and let's see, the other thing that and once again, the TARDIS was being held for something. So wanting somebody else wanted to use it, much like Marco Polo. This whole thing is really cool, but it was great fun listening to it. So I said some of my favorite moments, and I know that you guys had great fun listening to the whole thing, but can you highlight some things that the fans might like to know and enjoy about it, please? Let's start flip side. Let's go to Texas Tim, please.
Well, it's very cartoony. It's the sheer ridiculousness of it, which makes it so entertaining, because it just gets sillier and sillier as they go along. Like Lee said, it's best to compare it to a Carry-On film, because it really is. I mean, the Doctor says all kinds of things like he would never normally say in a serious situation, or if he had somebody with him. But here he just wanders out the Calais. I mean, it's hilarious, the stuff he gets away with, and why not? I mean, it's a lot of fun. I think I really do think it could be great. I mean, they've done other comic book adaptations for like the Avengers with Emma Peel and Tara King and stuff. I think that they should. They should do that with some of these other Doctors as well. I mean, this was great for Tom Baker, but I wouldn't mind. There's a couple of Sixth Doctor stories that are notorious for being very well written, and it'd be great to see if they adapt those too. I know they won't do them all, but I mean, it'd be great to see if they pick and choose a few more of the comic books over the years that were really widely considered good. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I think this is a lot of fun. It's a step in the right direction.
Awesome. And Lee, what favorite moments or other things?
Well, just to hark back what Tim's just said there, yeah, I totally agree. They could bring an.
Oh dear. Anyway, I guess we've just lost Lee. How unfortunate. But we'll get him back, I bet. I hope. Anyway. So. What other things did you find interesting about listening to this, Tim?
Just, I mean, it's different. It's different, like I said, from the usual Big Finish fare. I mean, each Doctor that they use is very well served, and they tailor the stories to those particular Doctors. This was something different, something new. And I was, in other words, I would say I was pleasantly surprised or impressed. Then, because I wasn't sure what to expect, and I thought this was much more fun than I thought it was going to be. So I think the fact that they don't take themselves too seriously with it is also great. The writers, whoever adapted it, they did a really good job of adapting it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Hey.
Sorry.
Hey, we got Lee back. Yay. So could you continue, please?
As I was saying before, Ironicus kicked me out. I agree with what Tim said. They could release box set 2 of this series from a 6th Doctor, 2 stories from them, or a 5th Doctor, even a 7th and 8th Doctors, because they had a long run of comic strips. So yeah, it's just the way, as he said, as Tim said about the Calais, all this sort of messing about. It's just brilliant. Going into the grub shop at the beginning with the shopkeeper and wanting jello babies and trying to pay for it with a Zagon pound note. It's it's a bit slimy, on the slimy side, but it's just them sort of little touches, and it does hark back to the comic strips. It's actually what they say in the comic strips, the voice bubbles and brilliant. I mean, one of the iconic comic strip things. I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen it, but you've always seen that one with the shopkeeper saying, "They're a coming." That's just brilliant. The coming. Poor old Mr. Grubb. Down there. Yeah. Toby Longworth. But yeah, it's just the comedic side of it. It's been said, it's a breath of fresh air that they're doing it like this. And I agree, if they did this all the time, you would get fed up with it. So it's just something new. It's a novelty. And if they bring out maybe 2 box sets a year of something like this, I'll be happy with this.
It's surprising. It's surprising that they waited this long, because I mean they've been at it for 20 years now, and it seems like something they would have done back in the day. You know, like just
maybe it's just red. Yeah, maybe it's signing on the dotted line, trying to get through the red tape to organise it all. I don't know.
Could be.
Yeah.
Well, I would agree. I think that the humor and the zaniness of it, the richness of it was great, and I would also like to shout out to, I think that Marvel was a great caretaker, but later on IDF did a good job with other forms of comic books, and then currently the Titan comics are, they're really good. And I've enjoyed. I have one IDF, one Marvel, and I used to have another one, but it got stolen when I was moving to Boston. Anyway, the ridiculous is sort of normal play in a comic book, and these great fights and these great battles, and you can just it does sort of leap into life, right? And so these guys did so well bringing those big moments into reality. Yeah, look at Lee. He's totally got the big moments right there in front of him. Anyway, so let's just rate it. We can agree. No, we don't need to agree. Please rate it, and let's start with Lee, if he can put down the book.
Well, I'm not going to do a Harry and rate the comic. No, but yeah, brilliant comic anyway. Yeah, well, it's just a brilliant listen. It doesn't drag. It's not too long. I would say it's ideally the ideal length to listen to. And I can't name anything I didn't like about it. So on that note, it gets a 10.
Great. Thank you. And Texas, what would your final say and score be?
Well, if I had one minor complaint, but it's not really a complaint, it's just that the cliffhangers were kind of weak. In fact, it's almost like the first one, they get to the end of 25 minutes and they say, "Oh, oops," and then they kind of go. But I'm not going to take anything away from it though, because I agree with Lee. This gets a 10. It's 100% entertaining. There's not a bad thing in it at all, and it'll keep you laughing out loud. I mean, you probably don't want to listen to this in your headphones in public, because people will look at you like you're crazy when you're wandering around laughing out loud. So yeah, this gets a 10 from me.
Awesome. Well, I will agree with the fellas here. It was super enjoyable. It was super frenetic. It was because it was broken into 4 parts, I was able to listen to one and then another. And I didn't, sometimes I like a big cliffhanger. Sometimes I like to just pick up where I left off, and that's what this really felt like. like between each part, I was able to, put it down and pick it up, and it was just like picking up a book. I think that's the difference, is that cliffhangers in a television show are meant to drive you to the next week. Cliffhanger in a comic book has made you to the next comic book, maybe two comic books together. But anyway, they don't have to put, because you're just picking up part of the book again. That's my opinion, and I'd encourage you guys to, if you disagree with me, to put comments below in our
God help
YouTube.
God help you if you do disagree with her. God.
Well, this is not the sort of thing that I get fierce about, but I just think that because it's way different. Anyway, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed listening to it, and we might do another one of these things fairly soon. But you guys are welcome. If you, like I said, if you disagree with me, put comments below in our YouTube, or tweet us, or say something. Put a little post in our Facebook group saying what the heck is wrong with Susan. Why is she thinking this way? So go ahead, do that. Communicate with us, and share this widely, and enjoy these videos. I'd encourage you to also listen to Drunky G's his audio. Who he does a lot of the Fourth Doctor, like once every so often, because they do it in a sort of sequential order, first through eighth Doctor, or first through 12th now, or 11th now, in sequential order. And so he does periodically, he does a Fourth Doctor. So listen to those, and also please subscribe to our channel. Thank you all of you guys who do subscribe. We love it. We're great. We're grateful. Yay! And so also thank you for joining our groups and communicating with us. And if you want to come and join our fun podcast, which I enjoy doing, and I'm sure that these guys enjoy doing them too, please feel free to get in touch with Lee, because he's the boss, and you just let him know, and he'll put you on a microphone, in a camera, with a Zoom. If you're 18 or over, you're welcome. Anyway, with all that being said, thanks for joining us. Have a great day. Bye bye. Meet.